Picture an October night in 1981. The Dark Lord stands before a choice that will decide the fate of the wizarding world for decades to come. Sybil Trelawney has just uttered the prophecy. A child will be born, capable of defeating him, born at the end of the 7th month, to parents who have thrice defied him. Severus Snape overheard only part of it and relayed it to his master. Two boys fit the description: Harry Potter, born on the 31st of July, and Neville Longbottom, born a day earlier on the 30th of July. Both are sons of Order of the Phoenix members. Both are a threat. In the canon, we know Voldemort chose the half-blood like himself, Harry Potter. He came to Godric's Hollow on the 31st of October, killed James, killed Lily, tried to kill the infant, and vanished. The end of the First Wizarding War. The beginning of a legend. But what if he chose the pure blood instead? What if Lord Voldemort reasoned differently? Decided that the real threat came from the ancient magical house of Longbottom rather than the half-blood Potter? What if he headed not to Godric's Hollow, but to the well-protected manor where Frank and Alice Longbottom hid under the Fidelius charm? Let us begin right there. Fidelius charm? Let us begin right there. The 31st of October 1981. Voldemort arrives at the Longbottom residence. Unlike the Potters, the Longbottoms have no traitor in their inner circle. The 31st of October 1981. Voldemort arrives at the Longbottom residence. Unlike the Potters, the Longbottoms have no traitor in their inner circle. Their secret keeper is Albus Dumbledore himself. But Voldemort is not considered the greatest dark wizard of the century for nothing. He cannot crack the Fidelius charm directly, yet he has other methods. Months of tracking a few intercepted owls, a few curses placed on unsuspecting acquaintances of the family, and he narrows down the approximate location. Then he simply waits. Waits for Frank Longbottom to leave for order duty. Waits for Alice to open the door to accept a potion delivery from a neighbor. Waits for a moment of weakness, and that moment comes. Voldemort breaks into the Longbottom home, not through the front door, but through the Floo network, temporarily disconnected from the main grid. The owners forgot to seal it after a visit from Frank's mother. Augusta Longbottom left the house barely an hour earlier. She had begged her son and daughter-in-law to let her stay longer to fuss over her grandson. Frank insisted she return home. It was late, it was dangerous. Augusta left, and survived. Frank Longbottom meets Voldemort in the hallway. He is an accomplished Auror, one of the best. He holds his ground for nearly a minute, which, against Lord Voldemort for an ordinary wizard, is an outstanding result. But it is not enough. Avada Kedavra, and Frank falls. Alice Longbottom hears the commotion. She grabs Neville and tries to apparate, but the manor's protective wards block apparition indoors. Voldemort saw to that ahead of time, casting disillusionment charms over the entire house. Alice runs upstairs to the nursery. She shuts the door. She casts every protective spell she knows. Protego Maxima, Salvio Hexia, Muros. She does not hide behind the sofa. She stands before her son's crib, wand raised. Voldemort opens the door with a simple Alohomora. Alice's defenses shatter like glass beneath a hammer blow. She hurls a stupefy at him. He deflects without looking. She screams in his face, "Do not touch my son! Kill me instead!" And Voldemort laughs. He offers her the same choice he offered Lily Potter. Step aside, foolish woman, and you will live. Alice does not step aside. She repeats, kill me, but leave him." Voldemort shrugs, "As you wish," and kills her. Only Neville remains in the room, an infant staring up at the Dark Lord with enormous brown eyes, not crying, just staring. And Voldemort speaks the same words but aimed at a different child. Avada Kedavra. The green bolt hurtles toward Neville and rebounds. Nobody expected this, not even Voldemort himself. Alice Longbottom made no magical contract. She simply sacrificed herself out of maternal love. Pure, unconditional, all-consuming love that required no rituals and no spells. Ancient magic awoke on its own. The reflected curse strikes Voldemort. His body is destroyed. A soul fragment detaches and flies into the scar on Neville Longbottom's forehead, the same zigzag shape, the same result of contact with dark magic. Only this scar sits not on the right side of the forehead, but dead center, just above the brows. And its shape resembles not a lightning bolt, but a crack. Voldemort vanishes. Neville cries. Augusta Longbottom, sensing something terribly wrong, returns through the flue and finds the bodies of her son and daughter-in-law, and in the crib, her living grandson. The world learns of the boy who lived the following morning. And now, pay close attention. While all of this unfolds in the Longbottom home, where are James and Lily Potter? They are alive, they are safe, they sit in Godric's Hollow with no idea that at this very moment, miles away, the fate of their son and the entire wizarding world is being decided. For them, this evening is ordinary. James plays with Harry, tossing him toward the ceiling and catching him with a Levicorpus charm. Lily scolds him for experimenting on the baby. Sirius Black drops by for tea. They laugh. They do not know that their closest friends, Frank and Alice, have just died. By morning, the entire wizarding world rejoices. But for the Potters, the celebration is stained with grief. They have lost friends, and Neville Longbottom has lost his parents. It is Augusta Longbottom, the stern woman in the vulture-topped hat, who becomes his guardian. Now let us break down what changes, and it changes everything. First, Harry Potter grows up not in a cupboard under the stairs, but in a loving family. James and Lily are alive. They are not wealthy, but they have a house in Godric's Hollow, the Potter inheritance, and most importantly, they have each other. Harry knows from childhood that he is a wizard. He grows up surrounded by magic. Sirius Black does not sit in Azkaban because there was no betrayal of Peter Pettigrew against the Potters. The betrayal occurred, but it concerned the Longbottoms. And Peter is exposed far sooner, because Sirius, Remus, James and Lily unite to find the traitor who destroyed Frank and Alice. Second, Harry Potter is not a celebrity. He is not the boy who lived. He has no lightning bolt scar. He receives no fan mail and no frightened stares in Diagon Alley. He is simply Harry, the son of James and Lily, a talented young wizard, but not a legend. And this is the greatest blessing of his life. Third, Neville Longbottom becomes the legend, but it is a different legend. Neville grows up with a grandmother who constantly compares him to his fallen father, the great aura, Frank Longbottom. Augusta is not cruel, but she is impossibly demanding. Your father fought Lord Voldemort alone for an entire minute, she tells Neville. Your father feared nothing, and you are afraid to fly on a broomstick? The scar on Neville's forehead is a constant reminder of who he must become, and this pressure breaks him differently than the Dursleys' neglect broke Harry. Fourth, Sirius Black remains free and becomes Harry's godfather in the fullest sense of the word. He is present in the boy's life from the very beginning. The eccentric uncle who gives dangerously inappropriate birthday gifts and teaches Harry illegal broomstick tricks. Lily grumbles, James laughs, Harry beams with delight. This is a normal, happy childhood. Now, let us jump forward to Hogwarts. The year of enrollment is 1991. Neville Longbottom arrives at Hogwarts carrying an immense burden of expectations. The entire school knows who he is. Everyone expects the boy who lived to be a prodigy on par with Merlin himself, and reality delivers a cruel disappointment. Neville is not a wunderkind. He is scatterbrained, forgetful, clumsy. His magic is unstable, the result of childhood trauma and constant stress. His grandmother pressured him for years, and that pressure did not make him stronger, it made him anxious. The Sorting Hat hesitates for a long time between Gryffindor and Hufflepuff. In canon, it sent Neville to Gryffindor almost instantly. But there, Neville was not the boy who lived. Here, the Hat sees his fear of fame, his desire to hide his dream of a quiet life without heroics. Hufflepuff offers him exactly that, and Neville, crushed by everything that has been heaped upon him, asks the Hat, Please do not send me where they will expect miracles again." The hat listens. Hufflepuff. This decision shakes the wizarding world. The boy who lived in Hufflepuff? The papers write articles. Augusta Longbottom is furious. She sends Neville howlers. But for Neville, it is salvation. In Hufflepuff, no one compares him to his father every waking minute. Here, hard work and loyalty are valued, not theatrical bravery. Here he finds friends who accept him as he is. Harry Potter, meanwhile, enters Gryffindor. And this is a very different Harry. Confident, charismatic, slightly cocky James Potter's son in full force. Lily taught him kindness and compassion. James taught him courage, bordering on recklessness. Harry and Ron Weasley become friends on the very first day aboard the Hogwarts Express. Hermione Granger joins them after the troll incident. That episode unfolds almost identically. But here, there is no Neville trying to stop the trio from leaving the common room. Here their group includes a different student, perhaps Seamus Finnegan or Dean Thomas. Now, a pivotal moment. The Philosopher's Stone. In canon, it was Harry and his friends who passed through the defences and confronted Quirrell with Voldemort on the back of his head. But here Harry is not the boy who lived. He has no special connection to Voldemort, no scar that burns in the Dark Lord's presence, no mental link. And when Dumbledore realizes the stone is in danger, he acts differently. He cannot allow Neville, the official boy who lived, to risk his life so early. Neville is not ready yet. So Dumbledore handles Quirrell in the underground chambers himself, and the stone remains secure. But Voldemort has not vanished forever. He still exists, a bodiless spirit clinging to life, and his Horcruxes remain untouched. The diary in the school, the diary in Lucius Malfoy's possession, it still exists. And in second year, it is Neville who must confront it. The Chamber of Secrets. Tom Riddle's diary does not reach Ginny Weasley. It reaches Neville Longbottom. Why him? Because Lucius Malfoy sees Neville as a threat, the boy who lived from a pure-blood family who has betrayed blood principles and studies in Hufflepuff. Neville is the ideal target for discrediting. Lucius slips the diary into Neville's belongings in Diagon Alley. Neville begins writing in the diary, and Tom Riddle speaks to him, not as an enemy, but as a friend. You feel the pressure too? They compare you to parents you do not remember as well? I understand you, Neville. I grew up an orphan too. And Neville, lonely, insecure, opens himself to the diary as he has opened himself to no one. Tom Riddle learns everything, the prophecy, the scar, the death of his parents, and uses it. But there is a difference. Neville is not Harry. He has no ability to speak Parseltongue. The Chamber of Secrets is opened, not by him, but by Ginny Weasley herself, because the diary still finds its way to someone vulnerable. And when Neville realizes that his new friend has used him to harm innocent people, something awakens inside him. Not Gryffindor bravado, but Hufflepuff resolve to protect those he cares about. He descends into the Chamber of Secrets, not with the sword of Gryffindor in hand. He has no access to the sorting hat. He goes with what he has, determination and a desperate desire to fix his mistake. Fawkes still arrives, because Dumbledore is monitoring the situation, and when the basilisk emerges, Neville fights not with a duelist's skill, but with the courage of a desperate man. Fawkes pecks out the basilisk's eyes, and Neville drives a basilisk fang into Tom Riddle's diary, destroying the Horcrux and saving Ginny. This is his first true victory, not as the boy who lived, but as Neville Longbottom, the clumsy, forgetful Hufflepuff who decided he would never let anyone else suffer because of him again. Meanwhile, Harry Potter lives his own adventures. In third year, he learns the truth about his father's friends. But Sirius Black is not a fugitive. He is a free man, a member of the Order of the Phoenix, Harry's godfather. The story of Peter Pettigrew is exposed several years earlier, and Remus Lupin is not alone. He is part of a large family that James and Lily have built around Harry. The Triwizard Tournament. In fourth year, events take the darkest turn. Barty Crouch Jr. still escapes Azkaban and still plans to restore Voldemort. But his target is not Harry Potter. It is Neville Longbottom. The Goblet of Fire selects Neville as the fourth champion, not Harry, and Neville is not ready for this. He is 2 years younger than the other champions, and his magical abilities remain unstable. But here is what is interesting. It is during the tournament that Neville begins to bloom, because for the first time in his life he is not being compared to his father. He is being judged on his own actions.
And he discovers something in himself he had never noticed.
He is brave. He does not give up. He is patient and methodical, qualities never valued in lessons but invaluable in real danger. He does not win the tournament, but he survives and saves others along the way. The graveyard. Neville is delivered there the same way Harry was in canon. Blood of the enemy. But this is not the blood of Lily Potter protecting her son. This is the blood of Alice Longbottom. And here lies a critical difference. Lily Potter gave Harry protection from Voldemort's touch. Alice's protection was different. It did not grant invulnerability, but gave Neville something else. Unbreakability. When Voldemort rises and challenges Neville to a duel, Neville does not defeat him. He barely survives. But he does not bow. He does not beg. He looks the Dark Lord in the eye and says that his parents died protecting him, and he will not disgrace their memory with fear. The Death Eaters witness this moment, and some of them, the wavering ones, those who joined Voldemort out of fear, begin to doubt, because standing before them is a boy who should not have survived a second time, and he is not afraid. And Harry Potter? He is not useless. In 5th year, when the Ministry refuses to believe in Voldemort's return, it is Harry, with the help of James and Sirius, who creates an underground organization for student training. It is not Dumbledore's army, it is the Potter League. James Potter, alive and well, becomes one of the leaders of the new Order of the Phoenix. And Harry matures not as a chosen hero, but as his father's son, learning from the best and becoming a leader not because of prophecy, but by his own choice. The final battle. The key difference of this universe, Harry Potter is not a Horcrux. Voldemort did not transfer a fragment of his soul into Harry, he transferred it into Neville. Therefore, for Voldemort to become mortal, Neville Longbottom must die.
But in this universe, everything is different.
Neville Longbottom was the boy who lived, whom the entire world knew and revered since infancy. He is not invisible, he is not an outcast, he is a public figure, a symbol of hope, and when he walks toward death, he walks knowingly, understanding precisely what he is doing. Neville goes into the Forbidden Forest, alone, without an invisibility cloak, without the Resurrection Stone, because the Deathly Hallows in this universe are never gathered in a single pair of hands. Neville goes with only his wand and the knowledge that his grandmother will be proud of him. Voldemort kills him. Avada Kedavra, and Neville falls. But he does not die. Because when Voldemort used Neville's blood for his resurrection, he also took into himself the protection of Alice Longbottom, the same ancient magic. Neville finds himself in a place resembling King's Cross Station and sees not Dumbledore, but his parents.
Frank and Alice stand before him, not tortured into madness, not broken, but whole and happy. His mother tells him what Alice Longbottom never had the chance to say in life. "I am proud of you, Neville. You did it." Neville returns, because he is the true master of his own death, and Voldemort killed only the Horcrux inside him. A fragment of the Dark Lord's soul is destroyed by Voldemort himself unknowingly. And now he is mortal. The final duel takes place not between Harry and Voldemort, but between Neville and Voldemort, supported by Harry, Ron, Hermione, and everyone who survived the Battle of Hogwarts. Harry Potter in this universe is a commander, a strategist, Neville's right hand. He is not the chosen one, but he is the best version of himself,
raised by loving parents, tempered by years of training under James, Sirius, and Remus. He does not envy Neville, he respects him. Because Harry Potter never wanted to be the chosen one, he wanted a family, and he has one.
Neville casts the final Expelliarmus. The Elder Wand flies from Voldemort's hand and soars toward him, because Neville disarmed Voldemort honestly, not in the graveyard, but in open combat before everyone. The wand acknowledges him, and the Avada Kedavra reflected by Neville's spell strikes Voldemort for the final time. The Dark Lord falls, this time for good. After the war, the world looks different. Neville Longbottom is the hero of the wizarding world, but he does not become an aura and does not chase fame. He returns to Hogwarts to teach herbology, just as in canon. Because Neville never wanted to be a legend, he simply wanted his parents to be proud of him, and now they can be. Harry Potter does not become an aura either. He becomes a professional Quidditch player, just as his father dreamed. James and Lily are alive and well. They attend every match Harry plays, sitting in the stands, and Lily still covers her eyes during the most dangerous moments, while James screams louder than anyone. Harry has a younger sister, Lily, and James had a second child in 1984, naming her after James's mother, Euphemia. Harry has Sirius, who serves as the insane uncle who every Christmas gifts things Lily has forbidden. Harry has Remus, who taught him the Patronus charm simply because it is cool, not for defense against Dementors. Harry has a family. Severus Snape in this universe never becomes a double agent. He has no one to atone before Lily is alive. He remains the potions professor, sullen and unloved, but without the tragic redemptive arc we know. James Potter and Severus Snape continue to loathe each other, but Lily forces them to observe a cold truce. Snape sees Harry in the corridors of Hogwarts, and each time remembers what could have been, but never happened. Dumbledore in this universe is depicted not as a manipulator, but as a mentor who genuinely learns from his mistakes. He did not raise Harry as a lamb for slaughter. Dumbledore in this universe is depicted not as a manipulator, but as a mentor who genuinely learns from his mistakes. He did not raise Harry as a lamb for slaughter because Harry was not a Horcrux. He focused his efforts on protecting Neville and hunting the Horcruxes. And he acknowledges that prophecy does not make a person great, choice does. And now the most important part. This alternate universe is neither better nor worse than the canonical one. It is simply different. It lacks the story of an orphan who against all odds became a hero. Instead, it has the story of a boy who grew up under the weight of expectations and still found the strength to become who he was meant to be. And it has the story of another boy who grew up with a loving family and became a hero not because he had to, but because he chose to. Two boys, one prophecy, two utterly different paths, and both lead to the defeat of darkness. Because in the end, it is not prophecy that makes a person a hero, it is choice. Always choice. That is what would have happened if Voldemort had chosen Neville Longbottom, the boy who lived from Hufflepuff, and Harry Potter, the boy who had everything.